What was kind of your aha moment when things sort of went in that downward spiral?
Can you guys hear me okay? All right, thank you for that introduction, Melanie. Yeah, I was a 5-star elite coach at 17 months into the business, and things were really looking good. Like Melanie, I was not on Facebook. I wasn't on any social media when I found coaching. I joined for the business opportunity, being a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids. I wasn't willing to sacrifice leaving them at daycare. So I found Beachbody as the perfect solution to be able to stay at home with my kids and create a business for myself. So, so I went all in when I signed up. I created a pretty, what I thought was a successful business in the first year as a coach. And I had all this momentum going. I started to create basically our family as our team. And what happened was I was 6-star by February of that following year, and then I started to lose diamonds. If you guys have been in that situation, it really sucks. And it's not something that you think is going to happen. And I found I was not alone. Talking with other coaches, it happens where life happens on your team, and people that you think will grow their business sometimes don't. And I started taking it a little personally, and I tried to go into almost defensive mode, where it's like, okay, we can get this back, we can get it back, and we can build, and it's going to be okay. And I lost sight of my recruiting goals. I lost sight of the 80-20 that Melanie talked about, and I kind of went into management mode on my team rather than focusing on what I needed to do and control my controllables. I gave my focus to my team, and it impacted my business negatively, where some of them didn't rebuild and didn't find that motivation to get their team back. And it was looking like I was not going to hit elite this year again, and the stars aligned, and that happened, but not until November of this year. So, for those of you who maybe are wondering if elite is in the cards for you, never give up, because you never know what's going to happen in this business, but also always control your own controllable, and practice the 80-20 rule that Melanie talked about.
So what do you feel like was your moment where what kind of changed that mindset? Like when everything sort of fell apart, you had a decision. So you could either let this go, let this be the end, this could be a sign that you weren't meant to continue forward, but what changed? Like, what did you decide to do?
Basically, it was a kick in the butt. Reality set in, and I recognized that, I can't count on these people to get over their hump and do it on their own. So I went back to recruiting and had some rock star coaches who had the same vision that I had for success, and did what it took, and we rallied together as a team, and we made it happen.
So how long were you in a slump for last year?
Months. I was actually dropped down to 1 star at Summit, which was a hard blow to my ego, because I was a 1 star at Summit the year previous. So I was very transparent with my team. They knew the struggle that I was going through, and I think they appreciated that, and I was very humbled about it, but I said, you know what, we're going to do this. We're going to pull together, and we stuck through it, and we just continued to grow, and recruited 4 working coaches.
So going forward, what are you going to do differently so that you can kind of prevent as much as you can from this happening again?
It's very hard, because we love on our team so much, and I really do care so deeply about every coach that I bring into the business. And so I really do need to set daily constant reminders to myself that, hey, the vital behaviors are so important. Doing my power hour to grow my business is so important. I can't not do that and only focus on my team and helping them. So, doing that power hour first thing in the morning, giving that my attention, eating my frog, that happens first before I do anything with my team page. Just so that I know, I want to get in my team page, but I have to move my business forward first before I give that my time.
Awesome. Okay, so let's kind of switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to move over and we're going to talk to Jaclyn. And so, Jaclyn, obviously, she's beautiful. You follow her on social media. She's got it all together. She's got a wonderful husband. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's got a great body. And so you would naturally think, well, she's just confident. Like, life just happens easy for her. This business is just easy to build. So like that is such a big thing for coaches. They look at you and probably say, well, I can't do what you do. But on the inside, let's go behind the computer screen. Do you consider yourself a confident person?
Yeah, so Mel and I actually had this talk a couple days ago, and she's like, well, you're confident, right? And I was like, well, not always, no. I definitely wasn't at first. It's something I still struggle with and I'm working on. So just to kind of back up when I first started coaching, and a lot of this is still true to this day. For the most part, I'm pretty shy. I'm an introvert. I'm definitely a very private person, and I'm very self-conscious. I was never on social media. I never took a selfie, ever. I don't even think I knew what that was. And so I've always been like this, like since as long as I can remember. I don't know. With my friends, I'm very outgoing, and I'm not like this, but with anyone else, that's how I am. And so it's something I do still work on today. But so when I signed up to be a coach, I said to my coach, I want to be really successful, really fast, what I need to do. And she said, you have to post 3 to 5 times a day publicly on social media. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I said, okay, if that's what I have to do, that's what I'm gonna do. So I made all my stuff public, and I started taking selfies. You know, after I worked out, it was really awkward and so weird. But things were going good, and just after 2 months into coaching, I went diamond. And I was really excited. I felt like I was on fire, and like literally right after that happened, something really horrible happened in my life. And I don't know if anyone has ever had a hater. You can kind of raise your hand. I've never had one before. I didn't think I had any enemies, but I started getting anonymously harassed by one person. And long story short, I'm not going to get into any of the details, but it lasted 5 months, every day for like, I don't know, 5 times a day.
Every post you make, right?
Yeah, and I almost quit my business because of it.
You had to close down your Instagram account. You had to get the FBI involved.
Yeah, we actually had to get the police involved. It was like, they said it was like the worst like harassment case I've ever seen. Long story short, of being someone I didn't even know. It was like an ex-boyfriend's new wife who's never met me. And I was friends with her sisters still on Facebook, even though we didn't talk, and that bothered her, because I guess, I don't know.
So, I mean, most people, right, would be like, that's it, this is done, I'm done, you know? And then somebody that's also a little bit nervous, like that whole putting themselves out there, this is something new, I don't know what I'm doing, would just say, forget it, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm not gonna do this anymore, but you didn't, you know, and this was something, so, you know, and I'm kind of going off target a little bit, but what was kind of that reason why you chose not to quit?
Yeah, so I did have to privatize my stuff for a while, and I literally, it was like the most horrible thing ever, and I almost quit. I wanted to quit. It would be much easier to quit. My husband was like, you should quit. I can't take seeing you like this every day. And I thought, you know what, this is going to eventually get resolved. We have the police involved, but if I quit this business, you know, I went into this business because I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I worked 60 hours a week. I never saw my daughter. And that was my huge dream, my huge why. And I thought, if I quit, I will never have that. And I'm gonna go back to my job that I was still at the time. But I'll be here forever, and always wishing I would have done this. And I'll never get it back, never. And so my family, my faith, you know, my friends, first and foremost, we got through it. But just basically my why, knowing that I had to do this in order to, you know, that was my push goal, to keep going, to have my big goal was to be a stay-at-home mom, eventually Beachbody, which happened 7 months into coaching. My determination to succeed, and my faith was bigger than my fear, so you really have to push through that. And there's a quote Autumn said last night at the event. She said, you know, if you're really comfortable staying in your comfort zone, great, good for you. But if you're not happy where you are, you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
I agree. And that is a big part of this business, is pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So last question, because we'll have to wrap it up, but what do you guys do, and I'll have both of you each answer this. So, you know, what are some things you can say, like, that coaches can do to break past their fears or overcome doubts in their business? You know, there's some roadblocks that have happened. You've had some setbacks. But what would you tell people moving forward to be able to just disengage from that and be able to move forward?
I think always be a student to your craft. What I'm doing this year is taking a strong focus on recruiting. So I'm going through a training that Jesse Reagan's social media success building training. to really develop my like page and you know, get some cold contact into our market.
Okay, perfect. How about you, Jaclyn?
So my 3 quick tips are to, one, you have to know your why. So if you don't have a really huge why, you have to find it and let that drive in your business. Number 2, personal development, and thank you, Jamie Messina, for talking about this at Summit, because I started getting hooked on the Shalene Show. It's a podcast, so if you don't have time to read like I did, listen to her. She's amazing. Lots of tips on confidence, pushing past your fears. And last, just kind of like what Mel said earlier, you just have to freaking do it. Just do it. That's it.
Yep. Thank you, guys. All right.